Today I'm going to be showing you one of the more sort of fun techniques that you can do with my new Lily Lines French curve rulers using any of these inside curling points. So there's 1, 2, 3 on Lily Lines number 1, and you can also do this with Lily Lines, I'm sorry, this is number 2. You can also do this with Lily Lines number 1 here on this inside curve here. So what we're going to do is make a perfectly symmetrical looping style design. Once again, we're going to start with registration points marked directly on our quilt surface. So we have our 90 degrees, 45 degrees, and these are the 2-inch registration points marked along the 90-degree turn. I'm going to use my precision alignment lines, and I'm going to arrange my ruler so that it's at a low dip here on the 90 degrees. And I've already decided to use this precision alignment line, and I've marked it with my Sharpie, and exactly match it up on my 90-degree line. Now I'm going to deliberately overlap this swoop until the deepest part of the curl returns again to the 45-degree alignment, and that is where I'm going to mark using the inside curve precision alignment line on this side. Once I have those positions marked, I can go ahead and stitch and flip my way around the design. I can do a 4-point design, or I can stop there, or I can continue and make another pass to make an 8-point design. So let's do this one together. Swooping my way around, and you can see how I now have a beautiful and perfect precise loop, which is completely ready now to be embellished to your heart's desire. So let's go ahead and go all the way around with this. I don't know if it shows very well on camera, but I continue to be just really charmed and pleased by the compressed light emitting acrylic that I've decided to make these rulers out of. It really picks up any ambient light and bounces it around on the inside of the ruler, and it concentrates the really pale aquamarine color of the ruler, and it makes the edges of the ruler glow and any inscribed lines glow. So you can't lose it on a quilt. You can see it really nicely on both light and dark colored fabrics. So I'm really just pleased with how that turned out. I'm continuing to work my way around using just really the most minimum alignment tools to make this very, very precise design. This purple drawing wheel represents exactly what your hopping foot looks like, and you would do needle down anytime that you stop and readjust your ruler so that it stays perfectly still for you. And there we are, back to the beginning. Now in order to repeat this, going around one more time, we are going to need to have new precision alignment lines marked 2 inches out from the 45-degree angles. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and draw that out for you before we move on. You can see that I've now finished an 8-point block design, and this is a great chance to go ahead and embellish any parts of the block with frames. So I've left the alignment line marked so I can easily see it. I'm simply going to slide it down the 45-degree registration line, and I'm going to make a frame right along here. The easiest frame to make when you're working sort of away from the line, so I can't really line it up with the edge of the plastic, is to use the edge of the hopping foot as my guideline, and I'm looking to basically mirror this shape using the hopping foot to make a perfect 1/4-inch frame. So I can work my way back around the 8-point star just like this, easily making a gorgeous frame that I can now embellish with feathers or pebbles or really anything that comes to my imagination. As you can see, I've now finished that star, and you can really begin to see the shape starting to take place here. The really nice thing about using these precision curve tools is that because they're so precise, they actually bisect each of these wedges perfectly every time, as long as you use the precision alignment guidelines. So now opposite corners are in fact perfectly bisecting these lines. So I can use a ruler, and essentially any 2 points make a straight line, but I can put them right straight through the center point here so I can be really sure that they are perfectly straight. And I can give myself a new set of guidelines. So here I am giving myself new guidelines at each of these intersections. I can then use these new guidelines to continue to bisect and design in a circular fashion, creating essentially an endlessly expanding mandala design, which would be amazing for lots of different types of custom quilting. Mandala designs are really popular right now, especially with some of the beautiful ice-dyed mandalas that are currently available, to the quilt market. So this would be a really great design tool for that. One last design. And now I can add a new layer of design work around here. So let's go ahead and make a decision of what we are going to do. I think I would like to use a different curve on my ruler, just basically for fun. I'm going to use this outside curve. I'm going to find a point and measure its distance from the center so that I can replicate that exact point precisely from the center as I work my way around. So I'm going to say that this point is going to start at 4.5 inches, and I'm going to do that on each design line. So let's do this one together here so you can see what that might look like. I'm going to make some just sort of random design decisions, what alignment points I want to use. I'm going to use this alignment mark right here, and again right there. So I'm going to make sure every time I'm hitting precisely my registration mark and then the 45-degree angle. All right, so let's do one of those together. And once again, being very precise with my accuracy of alignment. And I will work my way around doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that for you, and then we'll continue our design work. As you can see, I've worked my way around the entire block star design with adding an additional echo, which is very easy to do, and I've already demonstrated that. It is also extremely convenient to utilize the edge of the ruler or the embedded 1/4 inch edge marking to simply shift the ruler up the edge that we've created and create a perfect 1/2 inch frame around this, which then leads to really nice custom quilting opportunities. From every time you outline a couple of shapes, you can now custom quilt them by adding repetitive designs on the inside, pearls perhaps. It's a very beautiful chance to create some channel designs. So I'm going to go ahead and add this all the way around. Now, as you can see, I've worked my way completely around with that frame, adding a double channel, which I can now fill with a design. Now, of course, this is ready for your imagination to just go crazy with. One thing that I like to do is actually use this shape here as a beautiful sort of terminal feather for an end of a feathering design. So what I like to do is to give myself a guideline that sort of mimics this shape, and I'm going to pinch it down into the points so that then this can be a feathering unit that I work towards. So when I'm feathering this inside shape, I'm going to add a starting feather right here and work my way up using this as a guideline. And I'm thinking about how to mate my terminal feather at the end. So there we have using that side as a feather. So I'm going to go ahead and do that all the way around, and then we'll continue to make some interesting designs around the rest of this. A feather unit in there, so I want to have that in place. So once again, I'm just lining up the components that I used. There's my registration line and my registration dot. So I know that that needs to just drop back 1/4 of an inch so that I can make basically an echo. One more time here. And last time right here. So you can see that I've echoed this shape, but now what I can do is if I have my needle down right here, I could actually fill this with some kind of feather. I'm going to go ahead and do that. Maybe kind of like a clamshell design. Stitch in the ditch along back to the tip. Add another component right here. So now I can do that all the way around the remaining pieces of this. Before I do that though, what if we design something in here? We could just simply use a straight ruler and design some straight lines. This piece right here of the French curve ruler is in fact straight, so I can actually just use this for a little bit of straight line work. So I'm going to go ahead and do that right here. And come around to this point. Basically this is just using a piece of straight edge like I would any straight edge. I could have quilted up this line, back down to the middle point, and back up on this side. So I'm going to do that all the way around as well, just to kind of give you a feel for what this might look like in time. So I will be right back with that finished design. As you can see, I've gone ahead and finished this design, filling each of these little triangles, curvy triangles, with feathers, and subdividing this little middle star and giving each side a shadow side. And I achieved these 1/8 of an inch lines by using one of the straight line components of my Garden Lines ruler set. I have 3 rulers that have stitch in the ditch edges to them, and they all have 1/8 of an inch markings, so that makes doing 1/8 of an inch marks like this really easily. They also have 45-degree lines to keep it just perfect and lined up exactly right. So that's just a fun thing extra to have. So there we have it, all designed from 45 and a 90-degree registration mark, and just some polka dots and stitching and flipping our way around to create this really dynamic design. I hope you enjoyed this video, and in time I'll be doing additional sewing videos as well, and I hope to see you again in some class.